Welcome to our dear friends from all over the world. I'm Alessandro Palma, your host for today, and here we're with Jennifer Holmes. Welcome, Jennifer.
Welcome, Ali, and welcome everybody from all over the world, wherever you might be. And greetings from New Zealand. It's an cool autumn morning, very early in the morning here. And it's lovely to think you might have some sunshine and warmth up in the north.
It's 6 in the morning for Jennifer, and thank you so much for doing this for us and being here with all of us. And I just would like to say to our friends that the video from yesterday is being edited and will be available shortly on YouTube, okay? Jen, it's all with you now.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you, everybody. Well, I've been doing some thinking over the last few days. We've got plenty of time to think at the moment. Sometimes I feel it's almost too much time. It's now been 6 weeks, coming up 7 weeks, and we haven't had very much ability to go out and mingle. And maybe this is changing next week. We'll be able to visit more family and friends, and the shops might be open and businesses back to business, which will be wonderful. But this inward time has brought up all sorts of emotions for so many people, and including myself. And I've been thinking about families and loved ones, and some of you people who have lost people dear to them. And it's not only from COVID, it's also there's been restrictions on surgeries have been postponed, and I know people who are waiting for operations and to go into hospital. So I today want to revisit the heart and the breath. So we're going to be looking today at the third mudra. Now, the other day, my colleague Chus did a beautiful session looking at the fourth mudra. Today, we're going to look at the third mudra. So I want you to take your hands. I'm going to start by holding my left hand. I'm going to place the fingers of my right hand, the thumb across those two fingers on the palm side. So I'm going to be doing a big exhale. And the other fingers can go around the back of the hand. So that's the mudra. And I'm choosing the left side because I want to really exhale the past. This is our second depth to do with our lungs, and our fifth depth to do with our heart, small intestine. But also, it just happens to be, at the same time, a hold to release the diaphragm, our sixth depth. So we're really clearing the past and anything that we don't need anymore. I just want you to breathe, feel the exhale right down front of the body to the toes, and then the inhale from the toes right up to the head. And I find when I'm in harmony, when my heart is in harmony, when I'm feeling at peace with myself and all around me, and it's so simple to come back into our hearts with this hold, or the other many holds that we've been talking about over the last few weeks. My colleague, many of them have talked about the heart. And when my heart feels in harmony, all the depths are also coming into harmony. It's when my worry, my first depth that nourishes and sustains me, is disharmonized by the attitude of worry, that I get pulled out into the mind. And then the mind takes over, and the mind is a trickster. It creates all sorts of illusions, all sorts of voices that dominate. Oh no, you can't do that. Oh no, it's not safe to do that. Oh, I'm not good enough to do this. So I hold my thumb to harmonize worry. And then I have my fourth depth, my index finger, my pointy finger, pointing at other people. You should be doing this. And as I do that, I have 3 fingers pointing back to myself. That every time I'm fearful and point to other people, situations, there is something in me that needs harmonizing. So I just hold my index finger, and my fear gently subsides. And then I have this middle finger. When the harmony is here in the middle finger, my third depth, I've opened the bridge for source energy to come into my body, into my being. I'm at one with myself and with the universe. This also represents the spine in our body, our center, our main central, vertical, universal, harmonizing energy. And then I have my ring finger, and when this is not in harmony, I often have a breathing difficulty, too much sadness, too many oh, if onlys, oh, if only I'd bought that then, or if only I'd taken that opportunity then. Some people carry that with them right through their lives. Oh, if only, and it might have been 40 years ago. Let it go. Grieve. Feel some gratitude for what it's taught you or that person meant to you. Then let it go. So if my first and fourth and third and second depths are not in harmony, then my poor heart, the fifth depth, fire, is struggling. It's working very hard. So I know very quickly now how much at ease I really am in my body, in my being. And I hold my little finger and I feel it thumping. It's struggling. And now I give it a blessing and I say, thank you. Thank you for being such a strong heart. And when we go into this heart energy, I'm coming back now to hold those 2 fingers to release the diaphragm, to help the lungs, to help the heart and small intestine. Small intestines where we work everything out, and the organ and the function in the body is such a marvelous organ, deciding where all the nutriments and vitamins and all the food nourishment should go to various parts of our body. It does it for us. We don't have to think about that. And I come back into my heart center. So you can just place your hand on your heart if that feels good, and take some breath. Exhale down the front. And inhale up the back. Let go of old, outmoded thoughts, sadness, all my if-onlys. There are no mistakes in life. We can learn from each time that we feel like something's wrong or we could have done something differently, just breathe out, let it go. It was a learning curve. And sometimes, if you're like me, I'm a Saturn, I'm born on a Saturday. So I seem to have had many lessons from Saturn in my life that have repeated and repeated and repeated until I've got it, till I understand. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Just let it go. Old Father Time, he comes around again and again. And here in New Zealand today is a Saturday. It's Saturn's day today. Jin Shin Jyutsu has helped me to enjoy my Saturdays. I always used to struggle with Saturdays. It was a day of doing lots of chores and not a particularly fun day as I grew up. Now I go deeper into the harmony of my heart. And if we can feel some gratitude for all that life has brought us, gratitude for love that we know and have known, that sustains us, gratitude for life, gratitude for Jin Shin Jyutsu, helping me to now know myself. As I clear a space in my heart, I open up to my limitless potential. And the word potential comes from a Latin word potent, which means powerful. We are powerful beyond measure. When we engage our heart intelligence, when the heart becomes stronger than the mind, when the heart is the first place we go to make decisions, to feel the empathy for others, the compassion for others, compassion and love for myself. We are limitless beings of light. If we could only see ourselves, we are rivers of beautiful rainbow-colored energy. Jin Shin Jyutsu gives me a glimpse of this when I look at all the organ functions, all the 144,000 body functions. I can't see all of them, but I'm aware that inside of me are all these beautiful rivers of light. So when I tune into that, I can begin to feel the magnificence that is the human being. As Mary said, we're not human doings, we're human beings. So to be is to listen into the heart, to open up to your intuition. As Voltrod said when she shared the heart flow with us, the heart has got a huge resonance. It has a huge electromagnetic field. It actually feels and responds before the mind does. They had an experiment where they put people in a room with no sensory stimulation at all. And they found they had little electrodes on the heart and on the head. And they found that the heart responded to images that were then conveyed onto a screen. The heart responded to those images well before the images were actually shown on the screen. And the eyes, one of the 5 senses, could perceive the image. The heart had responded. So when it was a beautiful image, the heart responded with joy. When it was a distasteful, unpleasant image, the heart responded accordingly, well before the eyes perceived it. So this beautiful magnetic electric field of the heart goes out and touches other people. When we're in our heart center, we can be compassionate, loving human beings. We are beautiful human beings. That's who we are. When Mary talks about the self, the I. If you wish, you can change hands and hold the small and the ring finger on the right hand with your thumb to breathe out. Exhale, it's on the palm side of the fingers. And wrap the rest of the hand around the back of the hand. And just be comfortable. Place them in a place where you're comfortable. And when I was pondering about the heart, I began to think about forgiveness and why this sometimes is so difficult for us to forgive. And I read a beautiful story about Isabel Allende, the writer, who lost her daughter through a medical malpractice. She had porphyria, which isn't life-threatening. And she was in hospital and there was a medical malpractice and she ended up in a coma on a ventilator. And after some time, Isabel chose to take her daughter home and care for her lovingly. And eventually her daughter passed. And she said at first she was so bitter that her beautiful young child had been taken from her. And then she realized that the person carrying the pain was herself, and that she needed to forgive and let go. And she made the realization that by forgiving an incident or people, she actually was freeing up herself. She was freeing herself from carrying the pain and the grief. We've all had something happen in our lives where we've had to forgive. And I find it gets easier with practice. And sometimes I can forgive quite quickly. Other times it takes a bit longer. But when you can forgive and open your heart, then beautiful life and joy can come back in. We can change everything with the power of love. And when we exercise compassion for others, we can see beneath the surface of others' behavior. The heart gives us access to higher levels of consciousness, to the universal consciousness, what Mary calls the impersonal self. So let's just feel the release in our own hearts, in our own chest, with the lungs expanding. Filled with air, beautiful cosmic air, which, if you remember, comes from the word spiritus, meaning spirit, spirit breath. And now the lungs and the heart have spaciousness to expand. Jupiter, such expansion, right across the back, between my shoulder blades. And the whole of my breast feeling relaxed, my shoulders are dropped, my breath comes from the top of my head, down the front, all the way down the front of my body, to the big toe, where it releases, and then there's a pause, and we can inhale all the way up the back, all the way up the shoulders, and this beautiful cycle of breathing continues. We don't even have to think about it. But when we do, when we consciously breathe, something else happens. Something deeper happens with the conscious breath. We awaken our own internal consciousness. And I want to read something to you that I found in a book, The Power of the Heart. It says, becoming a person of the heart. When you begin to touch your heart, or let your heart be touched, you begin to discover that it's bottomless, huge, vast, limitless. So this is the third mudra of the 8 mudras that Jiro gave us. And each of the mudras is specifically working on a different part of our body, different organs, different attitudes. One day, we were told we'll be able to treat the whole human being just with the hands. So I invite you to empty your mind and see your heart as a little flame, a steady fire. No matter what happens in the outside world, no matter what challenges come to us, whatever events meet us, that you know always in the center of your being, in the center of your heart, You have this steady fire burning. It never goes out. It's not buffeted by the winds. All you have to do is reach inside and touch it. And I've always got my fingers with me. Anytime, any place. Stop, become heart-centered, and then ask, what is the right thing to do now in this situation? And then show you another place I'd like you to hold. I'm just going to stand up for those who can see. Just at the top of out from the pubic bone across the top of the legs. For students of Jin Shin Jyutsu, it's safety energy lock 15. Just in the center of the legs, between the pubic bone and the outside of the hips, right in the center there, just a little below the crease. That is safety energy lock 15. It's when you sit down, it's right in the crease where the trunk and the legs meet. And hold there because you want to pull the energy down, open that whole area to let the energy come down from the heart and come down the legs to open us to joy and laughter. They're the gateways. It helps my circulation all through my legs. It helps to keep me warm. It helps release the sadness and the grief. And it also helps the heart to release all the trying tos, all the efforting, the trying tos. I'm a Virgo. I understand all about trying to. Fifth depths, Virgo and Leo. I believe, Ali, we were talking before, and you said you had your moon in Leo, correct? Yeah. My moon's in Pisces, so I'm very open to everything. But my fire's in Virgo. And I am filled with gratitude, really and truly filled with gratitude, especially at times like this in the world, that I have these tools to help me through these times. Thank you, everybody, for being here today, joining in. What a beautiful time we have together. So precious.
Thank you, Jennifer. The people in the chat are sending lots of love and appreciation for you waking up so early to be here sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you. And thank you all, that everyone that is watching us. Remember that tomorrow it's a Saturday and there is no webinar tomorrow, but we will be back live on Sunday with another episode of We Are One. Thank you so much for your presence. Stay well, take good care of yourself, and use these wonderful tools that Jin Shin Jyutsu is always giving us as support. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. And goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Till next time on Sunday. Thank you.